Every movie has random trivia. And here at Trivial Theater, I explore some of these movies and the random circumstances that make them the weird creations that we love. The theater is decked out for the holidays and ready for a full month of festive offerings, starting with a movie that is absolutely jawsome. It manages to strike that rare balance of Christmas and giant sharp pointy teeth. Without further ado, this is 2018's Santa Jaws. We start out with a weird impending sacrifice by Santa, who uses a Christmas tree to threaten a lady tied to a dock. Or maybe he's just really pressuring her into a last-minute Christmas tree.
You've been naughty. The spirit of Christmas demands a sacrifice.
No, I'm pretty sure he's threatening her life. In a really roundabout way.
You better watch out. You better not die.
Anyway, help arrives, and we learn that you don't want to mess with Santa when he takes off his coat. A fight ensues, and Santa gets kicked in his jingle balls. No, really, they jingle. He gets jingle yeeted into the water with a seasonal pun.
See you in jingle hell.
And the shark gains a little extra Christmas spirit, as well as a pretty decent meal. We find out it was all a dream. Or in this case, a comic book with, gasp, the film's title. And in a strangely self-aware moment, the movie takes responsibility for itself.
Sometimes you just gotta jump the shark.
We find Cody, who for some strange reason I keep on thinking of as Alex with 2 X's, and his best buddy / comic book collaborator, Steve, as they show off their new comic creation. Clark rewards their efforts with a really knotted up string of lights, a weirdly placed Star Trek reference, and then promises
The biggest party of the century.
Damn, I can't wait for that. Back at his parents' place, the family arrives for Christmas. This includes a random Uber driver, Cody's overachieving uncle, and fancy lady britches over here,
Enchanté.
who spends her time as a social media influencer on the well-known site Snapstagram. She pulls out a witty one-liner,
LOL.
and Grandpa offers an equally witty reply.
Gesundheit.
Like most family gatherings, everyone is a little on edge. Luckily, Grandpa swoops in with the one thing that can cure the world's ills.
Who wants eggnog? Homemade? Made it myself.
We get our first Hallmark Christmas-style warm fuzzy moment,
No, you should take it easy on your mom. She was quite the rebel back in her day.
and Grandpa gives Cody an epic-looking pen capable of bringing anything drawn to life. Of course, Cody doesn't read the fine print and uses it to outline Santa Jaws. Elsewhere, we get an extended ball shot, and Santa Jaws manifests out of a green light, makes herself more festive, and disappears into the depths. Grandpa wakes up Cody to hit the docks because...
They're biting.
And after spilling his eggnog, we find out that he wasn't wrong. No, not Grandpa, you bitch! After trying to explain what happened, and having no one believe him, Cody has a candy-fueled anxiety attack, but then decides to put on his Christmas sweater and jump into action. Steve and Clark don't believe his story, but I gotta say, Steve's retelling of the Santa Jaws origin story sounds like a pretty fucking cool movie.
After eating evil Santa, she gained his power. She doubled in size. She grew so powerful that no other sharks would even get near her. Ever since, she roamed the oceans alone.
Back with Cody's family, we get a Christmassy dick joke,
Well, what's the point of having a boat if it's not the biggest?
and
Hashtag Christmas spirit.
later on a yacht, Mike and Georgia give us an impromptu Christmas fashion face-off. A bikini on a Rudolph floaty versus a corded sweater with a captain's hat combo. I guess Santa Jaws chose the sweater and hat combo because it's more yummy. She follows it up with a beer-marinated elf-sized appetizer, which was witnessed by Cody, Steve, and Cody's crush Jenna. Incredibly, the shark's hat stays pretty dry throughout. And that is what you call style. At the comic book shop, eggnog is offered without any thought given to Grandpa's memory. After confirming the multiple Santa Jaws sightings, the group suits up using replica weapons. But they aren't exactly the Avengers. This is with the exception of Georgia's use of a candy cane shiv after Santa Jaws goes fishing for her with a string of lights. We get what feels like a writer's room moment.
I may have been the one who drew her, but you're the one who gave her super intelligence, who gave her an insatiable appetite for human flesh.
And then they make another plan. Christmas balls and dynamite are found, but there isn't a pun in sight. There's another Hallmark Christmas movie warm fuzzy moment between Cody and Jenna right before another battle with Santa Jaws, where they do damage, but like a bad eggnog hangover, she strikes back, eating Steve. They resort to plan B. Since Cody's pen was the source of Santa Jaws, they hope to use it against her. After another eggnog reference,
Eggnog for the lady.
we find Clark has it and isn't giving it back. They go on an intense vintage car/bike chase, and he has an intimate moment with the pen right before he and Jenna go into the water. Both become Christmas Day snacks, and Cody desperately tries to destroy Santa Jaws, but all he does is give her Christmas ball shards for teeth and a giant candy cane shiv for a horn. Desperation sets in, and we barely avoid a sequel.
Slice her in half or something.
I can't draw her again. I might create another shark.
After the required environmental message,
Hey, this is classic global warming. Non-indigenous species roaming into unfamiliar territories.
the family teams up, using a turkey chucker to send Santa Jaws back to the depths, onto a melodious version of Ave Maria. But like any good villain, she makes a last-minute return. Cody finally sets the comic alight, and Santa Jaws goes up quicker than a half-frozen turkey in a deep fryer. Then, surprise! It was all a dream, and everyone is cool. But you can see that being eaten by a shark has changed Grandpa's ways, cause he no longer calls for his famous eggnog. But now,
Who wants my famous cinnamon roll?
Santa Jaws is definitely not your average holiday movie, and I'd say it's really not a run-of-the-mill shark movie either. Yeah, it has all the things you'd expect. It takes the tropes that define shark movies, but uses them in the right ways. The premise of a comic book shark being brought back to life was interesting, and there was a decent amount of humor, plus a Santa's sleigh worth of puns. Like, that alone makes it worth a watch. I will say that despite the way the characters act when they're introduced, they all turn out to be pretty likable. Now, I'm not sure if you can contribute that to the fact that they're facing down a supernatural Christmas-based shark, or if the writers really didn't care to expand upon those things once the story got rolling. Unlike a lot of shark movies, I did actually feel bad when people died, and there was empathy for Cody as he faced all of his people being eaten. There were also a lot of warm fuzzy moments worthy of a Hallmark Christmas original, but most worked within the context of the story, with the exception of a weirdly placed jocks versus nerds tiff. It did have a lot of subplot stuff that didn't necessarily lead anywhere, but in this case, it wasn't weirdly specific shit that just happens to be essential to survival later. The CGI on the shark was as cheesy looking as the premise, but they definitely seemed to have fun adding Christmas touches to the shark and her lore that made this a fun, easygoing ride. Of all the shark movies I've seen, this one is more competent than most. It's still ridiculous in every way, but the characters seem to react better to the situation in terms of their universe. In fact, if I have any gripes at all, it's that we need more Christmas silliness. And I'm still disappointed we never got the comic book store party that was clearly going to be a banger. If you want an eggnog-fueled, pun-filled, supernatural Christmas shark-based movie, then this is clearly worth a watch. So what do you think? Suggestions for movies, trivial questions, comments, ratings, and a candy cane shiv would be appreciated. Thank you so very much for watching.